Okay, let's see if Igor did this right. Leg bone connected to the foot bone. Head bone connected to the chest bone. Butt bone is attached. That'll come in handy if he decides to skateboard. Now for the final process. Life! Give this creation life! And if I step on his feet? That's not gonna work. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. And we're kicking off a special month of showing off some gifts that had been donated to the channel. And while I intended this guy to be shown a little later in the month, after seeing things on the day of filming, I couldn't help resist. I filmed this video last Friday while at MatsureCon because the computer decided to tell me it was Mary Shelley's birthday, so what better idea to show off a week later the creature inspired by her story, Frankentron. Frankentron here was a collaborative project with Universal Studios. Transformers is doing that with a lot of them. And this time around, this is the monster based on the creature from the Frankenstein novel that Shelley published in 1818, but has done more to resemble how the creature appeared in the more well-known 1931 film featuring Boris Karloff. And of course, like we said, collabs with Transformers and Universal Properties has been going on for the longest time, and will continue to do so. As previously they did do Dracula and the DeLorean from Back to the Future. And later this year there will be a release of the car from Knight Rider, which I have already purchased. I do thank the state of Ohio for cutting sales taxes the week I purchased it. So that's our school supply tax holiday. Now, what buying a Transformer toy has to do with buying school supplies to qualify for the tax-free credit is beyond me, but they were pretty much letting almost anything go that weekend here in Ohio. At any rate, this was sent to me by a new friend, Xena. She sent this to me as a birthday present back in May, and I am very thankful to her for it. It's nice to inspire a younger person. Either that or she also likes Larry, like most everybody else does. The attentions to detail here on Frankentron are pretty nice. I mean, they do have the sort of boxy shaped head to kind of go along with the look that Karloff had in the film. The hands are done horizontally instead of the more traditional vertical pose. So, again, to go along with Karloff's look. So that is a good choice, and you can look at the body and you'll notice all over there's like mismatched parts, like here on the thighs, and there's all sorts of cuts and scars all over the chest to definitely give the look of being assembled from various robot parts. So that's a nice attention to detail, so I do like that, despite the fact that I can't get away from the fact that it's basically a retool of Impactor. So that's the biggest thing going against it. And one other thing I have against it is that all the material, and even the robot himself, features the Decepticon faction logo, and I really don't see that being accurate. I mean, yes, the monster did commit terrible acts, but the creature was not really taught right and wrong. So a lot of the acts it did, it had no idea that what it was doing was wrong. It was not properly taught on how to act and behave. So labeling it as a Decepticon kind of makes it sound like it's evil, when in reality it's misguided. And that I just don't see working, but that's just my opinion. Before we go further in on here, give me the box, Larry. We have the box that it came in. I wanted you all to see it. I like the interesting detail that they put to the box, because they made the box sort of like a reminiscent of an old-style VHS tape. For those of you that were too young to remember VHS tapes, this was basically how we watched a lot of our entertainment. It came in a little black plastic thing that we stuck in a machine. It even looked like this. It would have a label on the center of it. If it was rewound properly, everything would be on this side, and then as it played, it would all go over here. And of course, we had to insert it in this straight way, and they warned you not to touch the tape so that you wouldn't ruin it. I understand they did the same detail for Dracula, so nice touch, very nice touch. And of course, on the opposite side, while we get part of one of the heads on there, this is basically where the toy would be, and the accessories were kept in this lower compartment. So, all in all, nice, interesting bit. And of course, we got in here, nice little picture. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Frankenstein's estate. Now, there is supposedly actually a real castle for Frankenstein in Europe. And from what I understand, they throw one heck of a Halloween party every year. So obviously they get into the true spirit of things thanks to the legend that's come from this. And if I understand correctly, it's also not too far away from the castle of Vlad the Impaler, who would also be thought of as Dracula. Alright, at any rate, let's get back to Frankentron here, and we'll take a look at his accessories. We'll start with the bonus accessory it comes with. We get a spark of energy. I guess this is supposed to be reminiscent of the electricity that brings Frankenstein to life. We haven't gotten these kind of effects as much since the War for Cybertron line. And in this case, I'm glad they made this one because it's different. All the ones we kept getting from the War for Cybertron line, that we were getting all the same ones, they would just recolor them, and eventually the novelty wore off very quickly on them. Next up is the weapon proper, which is called a Tesla rod. The instructions show that it clips on, that you can clip it onto his shoulder, although a lot of the other material does show it clipped right here on his wrist, so that it can be used as an actual weapon. There we go. Now we'll take a look briefly at Frankentron's articulation. He can turn his head from side to side, and it is on a very slight ball joint, but it's almost non-existent. His left arm can be raised up about so far, and it rotates all the way at the shoulder. For the right arm, you have to shift the cannon up and out of the way to allow it to be moved and positioned. Otherwise, the gun just gets in the way. You can bend both arms at the elbow at 90 degrees, and the elbow is on a swivel. So Frankentron has G.I. Joe battle grip. You can basically twist him from beneath his chest. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He does have a thigh cut going for him. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees. You can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. And you can also adjust his feet, but that's more for transforming him than for any other useful purpose. Okay, to transform Frankentron, it's pretty much the same steps that were done with Impactor. Get his arms straight. We start by turning the head around. And we come around here to the back side so that we can open up this panel here on his back. Fold the head down and then close it right back up. Flip him around to the front again. Take the cannon and fold it over like so. And then we also raise up his chest plate. And then we're going to raise up the arms in that classic position. But we also fold the hands in, so you may have to move the arms out to the side a bit. Make it easier. Just like that. Then once they have been folded up like that, we will rotate them at the wrist completely around. So that way these little silver knobs are pointing upright. Then take the arms at the shoulders and you're going to fold them downwards underneath the chest area. Of course, they should also connect because there are little slots along the side of the arm, and they will fit into the posts underneath the chest. We come down here to the feet, and we will fold his feet down like so. Kind of adjust the ankles so that they are facing straight. But they will want the instructions say then to fold them outwards a bit. Kind of go all the way so that way you can bring them in together. Close the legs together like so. And then we will then take the body and bend it upward at the hip like so. Now, the torso separates from the hip and folds up like so. Because then we come back here to the legs. We'll move the exterior part and fold it backwards like so. And then, of course, once we've done that, then we can fold the feet inwards like that. And then he's completely transformed into his alternate mode. But to get a little extra effect, we'll reach in here with the Tesla orb and you try to connect it onto one of the wrists. Doesn't matter which one. And then, of course, add the lightning. And there we go. We're rolling out into battle. And of course, Frankentron here has little wee wheels and fake treads. There's some right here, and then there's a couple more Down there at the feet. Unfortunately, it doesn't scoot along very far. The turret can rotate, though. So you can rotate it. And, of course, you can also raise the cannon. And go around and zap enemy robots or dinosaurs or whatever. It's kind of wicked looking if you ask me. At any rate, we get down to my thoughts. I think Frankentron was definitely an interesting choice. I think it was a better choice to put him in than it really was to include Dracula. Like I said, the only real gripes that I have is the fact that he's a retool, which, as we know, Hasbro's getting more famous for. And I really don't particularly care for making him allied as a Decepticon. I think that should have been left neutral, but that's just my opinion. All in all, though, I think the toy does look pretty good. I do like the attention to detail that they put on him. It does make him indeed look like a cobbled together creation. So all in all, it isn't a bad toy whatsoever, really. And this is definitely one I do appreciate my friend Xena sending me as part of my collection. I will display him prominently when I have the means to display them prominently. But at any rate, that's my review of the Frankentron monster. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you love the content we feature on this channel, I would definitely appreciate a like, a share, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is Sparkster1701 saying I'll catch you all later.